Hi guys, my name is Andre aka Mark Renton, and today I would like to talk about why you would or should not use hardware, or better, why you should use hardware. What I would like to de-scope of this discussion and really take out of there is really this hardware versus software and which product sounds better and so on. Because I highly believe, if you really want to have the Moog sound, go for your Moog synthesizer and just buy it and have fun and enjoy your life with that. And maybe you think if you're really into software and think, hey, for less money you get something better and the same sound, and in the A/B comparison you cannot really hear something. That's also true. So that's something. I think there are many discussions about that, but that's not something I would like to talk about today. Hardware and software have pros and cons, we all know, right? But also, not having hardware should not avoid you from making music, right? So you can do it in the box, you can do everything without hardware. Coming to the first topics, why do you want to produce with hardware? So honestly, it looks cool, right? It's fun. It's awesome. I really enjoy my room here. Yeah, I come here. It's like my spaceship. I go there. I have all these snoops, right? And it's really fun, of course, to, jam around with those things. And I told you already in my last couple of videos, the whole studio is built like that. I just go here, come here, press this one button, and I can play. Yeah, so I can turn on, just play the keyboards. And also, if you are able to just press the button and everything has been loaded, right, you can just continue where you are. For example, here, this mini brute has the same patch like I patched it yesterday evening. I can go to my virus, it's the same sound loaded, and mostly all of those machines work like that. So when I switch them off, I have everything there, right? In the software world, you have to open your DAW, you have to open your template if you have one. You have to maybe first update your computer, then there might be some issues, blah, 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 I don't care. Here you just press the button and you can jam. And if I feel like, and then can open my DAW and just record it. So that's how I built my studio. That's the really cool thing about hardware. Machines here like the Electron, this new, I got this Digitone, and it has a really steep learning curve. And by the way, here we have to clarify something, because for me, a steep learning curve is something like this, right? That would mean you learn it fast, you learn it a lot. But actually, I think what we want to express, scientifically spoken, is an exponentially growing learning curve. What do I mean by that? So, in the first place, you really it takes a long time to learn, but you don't learn many things. But then it's increasing and you get really awesome results out of that. But you have to invest a lot of time. And at the beginning, especially with electron machines like the machine drum and the Digitone, you have to invest a lot of time. And only after a certain amount of time, you get results. But then I really believe you get awesome results. Like the Octatrack I sold because I just couldn't make any use out of it, or maybe I was just too stupid for that machine, might also be. Yeah, those are mostly things that everyone is talking or telling you about hardware things, right? So let's come to the topics why I do not want to use hardware. And now I'm not talking about sound or whatever. I tell you, it's the cable hassle. I promise you. I think, some guys of you might think, hey, I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff, I think, but you could have even more, right? And I also have a list of stuff, I call it infrastructure, where are things that need to be fixed. And the pain is basically here. The old mixers and the patch bay that really don't use these XLR connectors, but then there are some jacks that have some cold conductors or whatever issue there is. So there's always something that is not working. Or like the old equipment here, these boxes from the 80s, I don't get it. Sometimes they have something, and sometimes they have. And the whole day I'm spending in front of the computer and telephoning around, talking about technical things. But with the music stuff, I want to do music and not being an engineer. And I just, of course, also want the things just to work. And then it's really embarrassing. It's really not nice. In the evening, if you want to jam, have a couple of beers, and then you think about, shit, I have to fix those cables. That really sucks. The second thing is patch bays and mixers. So when I did everything, the wiring and so on, I thought how cool it would be to be modular. Yeah. So with the patch base, I can of course plug in and out everything, and because it's not really hardwired, right? I can just plug in anything in between, like an effect or a delay or whatever. But with that, the complexity is increasing, and sometimes, I'm labeling here all those things, but I cannot read it anymore. Yeah. So usually, what happens in the night when it's a little bit darker here in my room and I cannot really read the labeling, I open an Excel, because in Excel I have also my patch bay, described everything, how everything is connected, and instead of going there and looking how the cables go, I go to my Excel and check what the configuration is. And I mean, honestly, if I'm already checking my Excel, I also could do it in software, right? So yeah. And also, like last time, I wanted to use one of the pitch shifting effects again, and I had wired it somehow differently than I usually do it. So usually I have it as an aux send effect on one of my Yamaha mixers, but then I had it something else, and I just didn't get it. Okay, so I plugged out all the cables and rewired everything, and I think that's not the intention of that thing, right? So I said I just want to jam here around and have everything working properly. So that's really a sad thing. I think the ones that having even more old equipment than I do have, I don't really have old equipment beside the Jake's 3P, which is older than me, and I'm 34 years old, by the way. I don't really have issues with old equipment beside the cables, maybe, yeah, but I know, yeah, it's hardware. At some time it will fail. So having really old equipment, you need to maintain it. And if you're not really into electronics or engineering or whatever, you need someone to help you to fix those things. And that's not the case with software. Yeah? On the other side, with software, when I do a track, I always export everything as stems. So when I know when the mastering was done, for me this is just a step that for the future I save all the tracks as stems, so that I do not have to open this 10-year-old Logic project, for example, because chances are really high that there's some plugin I don't have anymore, or it's not working because of whatever reason, latest macOS update, 64-bit, blah blah blah, or the software company is even not there. So long story short, I'm exporting it. Then of course something in between that's quite obvious. Software is really so convenient. You have everything in the box. You just double click it and then you can open it. Yeah, the same session. You have all the knobs and sliders where it was exactly before. Maybe you're able to manage that kind of awesome sound that you just wanted to do again on your hardware, but in the box you just have it there. So usually when I do something with hardware, like right now with the Digitone, even though it has this overbridge integration in DLWs, I still just record the audio, because I want to avoid the hassle with project management, sound management, blah 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 management. I just want to have the audio in the box. So that's really the good thing about working in the box and having at least there the audio. So then you just save some of your gray hairs, maybe. What I learned with the hardware, really this jamming thing. I once did already a video about that, the templating, why you should use templates. Check out this video, maybe I just can link it here. Is these principles you can take over mostly. Yeah. So when I'm saying I have the mini brute here that is always having awesome track there, right? You can do the same in software, right? You can just say, okay, this is my Ableton Live, this is my template song, and there I want to have some kind of software plugin of my choice always loaded up. So I'm doing this, or I was doing this for a long time with my sub bass for drum and bass production. I right now have it with some addictive drums that are just there to play around. And some things I just take over for my template. That's also, I think, quite cool that I learned from hardware. You don't see it very often in my videos, but I have also it's not sophisticated, but I have a laptop set up. So that's why I sync here everything with my Nextcloud. I just can go anywhere with my laptop, open it up, and open my Ableton session I had before. Yeah, so I'm using a 4-in, 4-out Focusrite, I think Scarlett it's called, USB-C audio interface. So yes, that I can plug in a headphone, I could plug in a microphone, I could plug in some hardware synths or so, but it's not like here where everything is connected, but I still can open it, yeah, and I can load my sessions in there. So I have all the plugins and so on also installed on my laptop. And for example, over the Christmas period, some months ago, I was doing a lot of sessions at my parents' place, and then after 1 or 2 weeks, I came back here to our home and just loaded in here in the studio and was finishing some things, for example, with the JP 8000. That's really a cool thing about software, that you can interchange and really work without that hassle of how it must have been 20 or 30 years back. I think that's something I don't miss, or something I don't want to learn. It's just not that I don't miss it. I didn't know it, but it's just so cool, yeah, with the software. So finally, I would like to say maybe my thoughts aren't so new for you, but it's just some things beside the usual hardware versus software discussion that's out there. And I just wanted to give you some ideas and thoughts that I usually face here in my small little world. And I think the solution for that is really being hybrid, having some hardware pieces that you really enjoy, having the joy of hardware, playing around and so on, but also using the positive sides of software. Yeah, so it's convenient. It's, all these things that I just mentioned there. And I don't want to miss any of my pieces here. If you ask me what I would have to sell in the first place that I would miss the least, I couldn't answer you that question, because I like all these things I have here. And I'm always, of course, also the first thing I usually do is I do stuff on hardware, and then I maybe turn over to software because I want to enrich something or do something else, or maybe as said, I am not at home. But that's the way how I work here, and it's a hybrid setup, and I try to combine the positive sides of both worlds and try to avoid the downsides of both worlds. And I hope that makes sense to you. And yeah, please, please, please drop me questions and some thoughts in the comments. That would really mean a lot to me. And also, of course, hit the like button. That's also something I'm really proud of, if this is increasing again. And yeah, let me know what you think, and talk to you soon. Bye.